right, a Volibear ban coming out from PSG. That one's a bit new. Italy, though, going to be taken away from River on the side of Berjaya.
A lot of jungle bans on towards River, and as well as Enzo here. So I think for Berjaya, they can possibly force River into a sort of passive jungler where he doesn't exactly be impactful in the map. And there you go. Aphelios being removed off the table.
Berjaya, have they found out the secret formula? Do you just ban Aphelios instead of trying to play up against it? And then you can't complain about it. Then you can complain about another champion in the map, possibly. Oh boy. Like you mentioned, though, Graves, Nidalee, as well as the Volibear.
Oh!
Ezreal, though, is going to be banned out. They say, all right, you're going to take away my AD carry, we'll take away yours. Twisted Fate, that does mean Varus has made it through the ban phase here, though, and could be picked up first pick for PSG.
K2 has played a number of AD carries already. Has played the Ashe, has played the Jinx even. Unfortunately, though, when it comes to results, he has produced a lot on the Ezreal, so it is quite unfortunate that it's not going to be available for the taking. Makes me wonder what Berjaya will decide to pick up. You know, Ozzy has been very, very good when it comes to his Mordekaiser, so it makes me wonder. But Karma is open, so might as well get it.
Gonna get that Karma. Can be, of course, flexed into the mid lane from now on. Could also see it for Delulu. I do believe he has played the champion before. And we go to El Clasico when it's Enzo, as once again, going to be locking in the Trundle, I believe, for his 6th game of the split. Meanwhile, though, instantly locked in is River once again on this Lee Sin, which, I'll be frank, yesterday was a kind of 50-50. I felt like he was kind of trying to make some plays, but the later the game went, it was getting a little bit more difficult for River to make an impact on the map.
Yeah, absolutely. As a Lee Sin, possibly one of those things where you use as a objective stealer come late game and a setter when it comes to getting picks off the map. Meanwhile, Thresh is going to be locked in, which is absolutely scary. I mean, the trend for PSG is they always pair up Kaiwing and River, make early roams, get those early picks, and therefore I'd be worried about Enzo with this, you know, jungle and support duo that PSG has formed.
Yeah, Kaiwing's Thresh, absolutely devastating. Interesting here, though, for Berjaya, they decide, all right, 4K2. Let's go ahead and lock in this Sivir. Just allows them to kind of perma-push the wave, and then I guess they don't have to worry too much about the Varus. Still has to be careful about a piercing arrow, but you do have that spell shield also for the ultimate to try and negate that.
Yeah, you do have that spell shield to sort of keep healthy when it comes to the mana against this Varus at least. So that's something to actually try to mitigate as well, any sort of the piercing arrow. But now let's take a look at the bans. That's going to be Lissandra getting taken out. We still don't know what Mauen is going to pick in the mid lane, whether or not it's going to be the Karma or whether or not that's going to be for Delulu.
All right, so Lissandra being taken away here. Like you mentioned, that Karma could go both in the mid lane or bot side. Some mid lane bans might be. Wow, Irelia actually drew a ban? Was PSG just watching the previous game like, oh yeah, that champion's starting to get a little bit disgusting? I guess with the board changes, she would start to get back into popularity. She's not in a bad place. Maybe just Tank doesn't want to go up against something hyper-aggressive like that in lane.
Yeah, Mauen has a history of picking the melees in the mid lane, so I guess it is trying to possibly remove options for an all-in, considering you've got that Karma, you've got that on the hunt from Sivir, and it's just going to add in to, you know, press that go button kind of strategy, or rather approach in the fights. And, you know, Berjaya Dragon's even removing Mordekaiser, and that means, you know, perhaps Hanabi can pick up either the Renekton, maybe even the Gangplank that you also love, Opal.
Oh, don't do this to me. Don't show me that Gangplank. Interesting, you also get rid of the Braum here for Delulu. So actually drawing a ban. So just trying to get rid of some of the comfort picks, I guess, for the side of Berjaya. Some of those niche comfort picks. Mordekaiser was the blast ban, though, for Berjaya, so not going to see that for Hanabi. Like you mentioned, still could go on something like that Gangplank. That'd be a lot of AD in this composition for PSG, though. So we'll have to see what they plan to do with their mid lane. But for Berjaya, looking to go possibly with the blind pick Wukong. It has been the Hanabi special just to go ahead and go for the Malphite in response.
Yeah, absolutely. And it seems to me they're setting up for such a strong 5v5 for the Dragons. This is actually a really good mid game, and if Enzo is able to sort of relieve pressure away from some of the side lanes, that River will potentially set either for Hanabi if we see his pick, whether or not it's going to be for the lane or for the 5v5s, and it seems to me Syndra might be for tank.
All right, so we get to see Tank. I don't think we've seen him on the Syndra just yet. He's played the Azir as well as the Twisted Fate. This time around, though, is going to be on the Syndra. Syndra did take a couple hits, though, when it comes to the nerfs, especially
oh, there it is.
10.13, and oh boy, he's up against a Trundle, but he's going to lock it in. All right, taking bets right now. Is Hanabi going to be ganked at level 2? We'll have to see. We'll see. I just want to see him put down a ward. That's all I want. If he puts down a ward, I'll be happy. We'll see what the case is. That's still a couple minutes into the game here. Final pickup, though, for Berjaya. Get to see now what is going to happen here with this mid lane as well as the support role.
Oh, and I think the biggest question was whether or not they're going to be playing for the 1v1 or perhaps, you know, trying to neutralize the lane and help out the side lanes. And it seems to me Galio will be the choice for Malon.
Yeah. Pretty much just neutralize this Syndra pickup in mid lane from tank, make it rather difficult for him to actually try and find a kill. He shouldn't be finding kills on Malon as a Galio, and with that being said as well, because of those nerfs we saw, actually I think Galio can push back decently well, and at least in the early levels. Once Syndra gets back up to, I think it's like level 9, once you have 5 points in your queue, rather difficult. She kind of goes back to the way she was, but early game she's a little bit more exposed, and maybe we'll see Enzo come on by as you have a lot of good follow-up from a Galio with that taunt and knockup.
Yeah, absolutely. Early game, Galio hits pretty hard against the squishies, and just as you mentioned, Syndra will definitely be a little bit vulnerable, and if you add in the mana cost changes come patch point 10.13 rather, and yeah, I am liking the Berjaya composition at the moment if they can make the early game work and have a very strong mid game for sure. And I guess for River, there's a lot of catching up, I suppose, if Enzo perhaps becomes a little bit more active, especially at top side against Hanabi.
We'll have to see if there's going to be action from that top side of the map in the early levels. Try and see if we can expose this gangplank pick that we have seen be taken advantage of a couple times now by the side of Hanabi and his opposing forces. We also get to see Unified back on the Vars. They made it through the ban, so we'll see PSG at the top of the leaderboard looking to separate from J-Team that tie of a 5-1 record if they can take home the victory over Berjaya Dragons.
Welcome to Summoner's Rift. Until minions spawn.
Back on we go. Second match of our day for our last day of week 3. I make it sound like we have multiple days through the week, but now we only have 2. I was used to spring, you know, that real grind of Friday, Saturday, Sunday, all back to back because we had the compressed schedule. This time around, though, a little bit more time. And I kind of like that, especially for the squads. It gives them more time to kind of adjust some of their strategy. We can see a little bit more growth. I feel like with a compressed schedule, it's really hard to see a team grow over time when you cut a week or 2, mainly because we had so many delays at the beginning of the split.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. There's a lot of breathing room now come summer, which absolutely interested looking at this game now, as seems to me the plan would be, K2 having to shove wave. You've got a lot of hope alongside with this Karma. Gotta be careful though, as again, Kaiwing is a deadly thresh. We've seen his highlight reels before.
Nice
yeah,
little...
Lulu hoping to get at least one poke before the wave comes and
no.
wave meets.
Well, gets hooked, but there is no follow-up. It is only a level 1 Thresh. Ended up taking hook instead of Flay, actually. Usually you see the Flay take. Nonetheless, he just wanted to get back in it. It's already in mid lane. Tank. You might have had a couple of those mana nerfs coming out of Syndra already spamming the Q, though. Immediately trying to bring down Malon to a killable range. Maybe we'll see a little bit of action early on here. This is, of course, PSG running tank. We didn't get to see Candy at all this week. So maybe scrims were just going better with tank. We'll have to see. what the plan is here for PSG. I know we were kind of expecting him to appear more when they were playing a lot of the former LMS squads. So maybe some variation, maybe a different play style, and we'll see what PSG continue to do as we head on into the split.
Yeah, Tank had a very nice debut game, but we'll see the Delulu making an early roam.
Very early roam coming out of Delulu, and very easy to actually lock down this Syndra. Don't even need the Trundle to make an appearance. Tank is going to get himself back to safety. No, it's a flash forward from Delulu. First blood going back onto the Karma.
Beautifully done, and because K2 has that spell shield on that Sivir, it's really hard for Unified and Kailing to try and punish, you know, Delulu whenever he tries to roam in the mid lane. And it's just so sad because Tank is able to set up that HP so low just in case River drives by in the mid, but it was Delulu having that first visit in the mid lane.
Yeah, Delulu with a nice roam. Meanwhile, teleport down bot lane. Hello, do you see a party? I see one. That's going to be a second kill going on over to Delulu.
My, oh my, it's not stopping. It's just the 3-minute mark, and they're continuing their air quote, you know, aggression. Not air quote, just aggression over bot lane and as well as mid. And you know what? This is what we expect, especially towards K2.
Yeah, Malon with a nice teleport flank actually coming out because of the Triforce board. And poor Guywing just like, why is there Galio down here at 3 minutes? I thought we put him back to lane. So we did mention when you're playing up against PSG, there is almost a little bit of period where you kind of have control of the map. The very early levels, rarely do we get to see aggression come out, but now River, realizing his lanes need help, want to try and make an appearance here on the map. A nice Scout of the Week is going to connect into the queue, and there is your kill in response. But Delulu is just camping mid lane more than Enzo is. River now has to try and find himself back to safety, flashing it over, gets back to a ward with the safeguard. Tank still in that front line, getting some damage back onto the Karma.
This is non-stop gank, and unfortunately Mawan already used his flash earlier, and I feel like the shield was off of cooldown just so that Delulu can go back to lane. That's the reason why he couldn't clutch the shield and only had the Mantra Q. And in the meantime, you know, Enzo coming from the side, unfortunately they're not able to get a kill, but is able to burn a flash at least away from River, which is extremely important as a Lee Sin.
Meanwhile, up in this top lane, I was expecting, you know, Enzo to finally make an appearance. You know, I was thinking, all right, first 3 levels, Hanabi has been ganked. Maybe this is a sign here where bot side of PSG are going to have some difficulties. There's going to be all this action, and Hanabi finally gets to lane without a jungler camping his lane.
And I think the blessing for the Dragons of not having to focus on top side too much is that at least Hanabi will not be a monster at least around maybe the 15-minute mark, 20-minute mark, where the barrels will have a significant amount of damage. And at least once level 6 comes in the Cannon Barrage, that's when the Dragons have to be a little bit careful when they're aggressive, as that can be a turn the tides of battle kind of ult against the Dragons.
I'm digging here. Delulu, because he got the first 2 kills of the map, he actually decided, all right, I'm going to get some Merc Treads because I'm going up against a Thresh. Try and get some tenacity. So it's that extra little bit of move speed. So maybe we see Delulu once again. You already see him going over to War Dragon. He's going on another adventure on this Karma. As lots of things coming out. River actually getting invaded upon. Delulu also joining in. And man, this is kind of what I wish I could see from the mid lane Karmas that we see alongside Trundles in the PCS. Instead, Delulu is kind of putting on a clinic on this is how you play Karma with a Trundle. Get aggressive, get into the lane. Enzo has to get himself back to safety as PSG, though, get control back into the river.
It's perfect because you're paired with a Sivir, so wave clear is just insanely easy.
Collapso gonna come out. Cannon Barrage is there. Mount on does have level 6, but there's no real member of Berjaya Dragons that's gonna be jumping into the back line until this Wukong makes an appearance. And with that Cannon Barrage also coming out from Hanabi, dissuades Berjaya from going any further.
Yeah, absolutely, and as you can see, Ozzy getting bullied, and a bit is an understatement as he's trying his best farming under tower, but this could be the story for the rest of the game, as again Enzo will focus more on mid and bottom side of the map along with Delulu.
Yeah, you see that grass Gangplank just chunks you out every time it's available, especially with Hanabi. He's going to be maxing Q as much as possible usually. He likes to get that damage from the mid lane. Once again, now unable to get the Justice Punch away to safety. Let's see, does River actually find the kill? Can't finish him off. Unleash power. The ticking of Scorch isn't enough to take down the Galio as he did pop the Corrupting Pot.
Enzo still not level 6 just yet. No Subjugate just yet. So therefore, just gonna take out the ward. It's just unfortunate for PSG. They're unable to finish off the kill after investing so much on towards Mawan. So I think that's a pretty good win. Delulu once more, again, because of this Sivir. That it's so easy to clear the wave, therefore making space at bot side, Delulu is able to keep roaming like this.
Now, unfortunately, I don't think Unify can actually find a kill unless he gets some decent piercing arrows to begin a combo. And even then, K2 will always have that spell shield as long as he keeps it available for the ultimate when it's used. The one thing, like, sure, Berjaya were able to get a lot of action happening on the map early, but you can see now the lanes are really starting to suffer, especially this top lane. That's now a 32 CS lead for Hanabi, making 35 after this wave. And even there in the mid lane as well, you're starting to see a 20 CS gap, 10 in the jungle. Only really the bot lane is even here for Berjaya. Everything else is starting to bleed gold.
Yeah, and makes me wonder whether or not Enzo will at least gank once to relieve pressure. I mean, so far, River has also left Hanabi alone at top side, so Hanabi may be farming it up, but so far, no deaths on Ozzy to propel this Gangplank to be a threat later on these fights. And nicely done stun, at least, but it's a Galio is able to fly back to safety just in case it gets too sticky.
Yeah, on top of that, too, he's already gone ahead and rushed the Merc Treads, so you can see Hanabi's just going to crash a massive wave into the tower. Poor Ozzy is just like, can I farm a little bit, please? Luckily for him, he does have Tiamat, so he should be able to at least soak up some of this farm.
Delulu.
Yeah, Delulu's become the jungle, by the way. He has roamed more than Enzo into the lanes. Enzo's just kind of farming in his jungle. Delulu's like, all right, I'm now the mid lane, I'm now the top lane. Now I'm supporting possibly this Rift Herald take for Berjaya.
Yeah, gotta get those 2 kills count at the first, 4-minute mark of the game and try to share its blessings, I suppose. Again, no threat whatsoever on bottom side as Rift Herald is actually getting started by PSG already.
Interesting enough, too, we actually didn't have the first Dragon take. It is only a Cloud, though, so maybe that's the reasoning. It's Malon. Teleports back into mid lane, so can be around for a possible fight. Has that hero's entrance available. So I think for PSG, they realize, all right, this can be a little bit risky. We don't necessarily have to force a fight just yet. Or maybe they're going to prove me wrong.
The Wombo combo, though, the team fight of Berjaya is much stronger. We'll see if there's going to be a steal, though.
Let's see. About 3,000 health back onto the Rift Herald. Piercing Arrow is also there, so Unify is joined in. It's a 5v5 up here in this top lane. Hanbi also nearby. Cannon Barrage comes on out. They get the hook immediately onto the Wukong, but they do not take him down immediately. He's going to get taken down by the Ignite. River able to get kicked back onto Malon. Going to try and use the Galio ultimate to get back to safety, but now he's stuck in a pit. Delulu has to flash on over. Enzo has to flash on over. And Berjaya, they lose multiple members, lose multiple summoners, but they do secure the Rift Herald.
And we said before the draft, when it comes to the skirmishes, when it comes to the early game, Berjaya Dragons have that covered. But for PSG, they're very comfy when it comes to objective fights, especially the 5v5s. And Berjaya Dragons just crumbled in front of them while taking that Herald, despite having that position advantage in the pit.
Yeah, good hook coming out there from Skywing. Malon, unfortunately, he can't really do a whole lot. He's just zoning away River, and unfortunately, the rest of the team, they get just crowded into the pit and have to flash to safety.
Yeah, they were pretty much cornered into this gladiator pit and has no choice. They have no choice but to consume 2 flashes, which will be extremely important in the incoming fights. K2 doesn't have any mana. Spell Shield will get to reload at least a little bit coming from Hanabi.
Saw there, I was a little afraid Hanabi might get dough, but only a Sivir and a Trundle, not a whole lot of dive potential coming out of that combo. Delulu now makes his way also into the lane to help support. Hanabi maybe thinking about trying to go for a lane swap. Might just stick around. Still has himself about a 40 CS lead over Ozzy, so not end of the world if he starts losing a little bit of minions here and there. Meanwhile, River was able to secure the Cloud Drake, so I was kind of wondering when that would first be taken here. Is Kaiwing? Oh, no, Delulu. He's all alone. His friend went back to base, and the poor Karma is going to get taken down here. Oh, nice sidestep. Hanabi can't finish off the kill, can he? No.
Oh,
able
nice.
to get himself to safety.
I was a little bit worried there because I thought it was going to be another Delulu story where getting caught out in the open, but Karmas are pretty slippery, considering the fact that Delulu also missed his flash. I consumed his flash, rather, earlier in that Rift Herald pit, so, you know, props for PSG for trying, but Delulu is a little bit slippery.
So a nice job there. Coming out, Delulu is able to prevent his first death from coming through and being given over to Hanabi, who he himself on that gangplank would love a little bit unified. Ooh, a little sneaky there. K2 a little late on the spell shield, but it's still a little early. Only has his blade. That's a flash forward though, and without that spell shield, K2 gonna get taken down as River joins in on the fun.
Ooh, I mean, K2 still had flash, but Unified has been very sneaky from the piercing arrow and as well as the chain of corruptions. Delulu could potentially be next, but again, as the Karma, very slippery.
Slippery. River does not have Dragon's Rage just yet, but will have it available in a quick second. Delulu's going to try and back. He might just go ahead and try and go in on top of Unified. And Delulu going around the world, unfortunately, will get taken down here quite shortly.
They're buying so much time.
But there you go. Meanwhile, top lane. How is Hanabi still alive? He almost took down Enzo. This man is Captain Jack Sparrow. You shall not kill him, it seems, as Hanabi again survives the dive.
Yeah, and the fact that Mawan was included in that dive too just means that, well, we're not sure what happened, but it's just unfortunate that they invested so much wanting to get an exchange off of Delulu's death in the bottom side of the map, and despite having to buy so much time, Berjaya Dragons are unable to exchange anything off of the map.
And with all this action, you have given up so much lane pressure, especially now top lane. That's a 50 CS lead for Hanabi. Mid lane is closing in on a 50 CS lead. PSG's lanes are so far ahead. They only got a 3-kill advantage, but they're up now 3,000 gold.
Yeah, because of the spell shield being unable to being baited out, you are just very vulnerable for a flash chain of corruptions from the Varus, and for Delulu, it was definitely just denying the inevitable as that's 3 members, especially River and Kaiwing. They've been that duo that has been constantly a threat against the PCS teams, and they're just flexing at the moment. Poor Delulu, and again, nothing exchanged off of the map as they've attempted. Their attempt weren't successful.
With that, now it's almost closing in on a 4,000 gold lead for PSG. Luden's Echo also now completed for tank. He's going to be able to do some decent damage. Malon, though, does have a proto belt, so he'll be able to try and get into the fray. As Unified now working toward his second medallion.
Second lethality item for Unified, just as you mentioned. Meanwhile, K2 still waiting a little bit on that Essence Reaver. Mawan at the moment, though, could be in danger.
River, not afraid to take a kill. Even into the fray of Trundle, trying to jump on it. Gets the kick, ends up pushing back now on only a couple feet. Enzo able to survive. No, piercing arrow from Unified finds its target. K2 gets taken down. And there you go, another tank. Hello, where are you going there, bud? Delulu. Again, Delulu. Going for a little bit of an adventure. This seems to be Delulu's adventure. This is pretty common. And there you go, Unified with another kill, now on a killing spree. And Enzo, Hanabi's just gonna walk up. Oh, Malon got himself back to safety. Hanabi a little bit late for the parlay, but there you go. PSG finds themselves another 3 kills.
That is unfortunate because, again, it's supposed to be Berjaya Dragons having to put pressure on the side lanes, but they're getting caught by PSG in their rotation, and you're definitely not ready for this, as Enzo is the first one to fall. Good snipe by Unified. Again, a ton of wards just scattered in the jungle of the Dragons, and quite unfortunate that everybody else from again, from the Berjaya, Dragons is quite scattered in this fight.
Meanwhile, in comes the hero's entrance. Cannon Barrage laid down by Onami as Enzo was already taken out on the fight.
dear.
River's going to make it so Delulu joins him in his grave. And Berjaya starting to lose a lot of tempo. The nice shutdown, though, comes out as Ozzy finds himself a Cyclone kill. Kaiwing maybe a little bit scared himself, but no, Tank can just blow up the monkey. Gets the flash available. Tank is so close to killing all these members on the side of PSG, but he keeps just losing out on a little bit of health.
Yeah, I was concerned for Ozzy as the rest of the members of PSG are still inside the jungle, inside their jungle, and hoping to get possibly another kill as he still had one Cyclone left for Hanabi, but Tank was there to threaten that potential. And Mountain Drake is now live, still PSG full control. Just as you mentioned, all the lanes won, all the important lanes have won, and meanwhile K2 at least has that CS lead over Unified, but the rest of the map for PSG, they're doing great.
Yeah, it's going to get really scary here soon for Berjaya, because soon Tank is going to have his second item. That's kind of when, Syndra really starts to come online. That's when she becomes the actual kill threat, where she can just, one combo you pretty much with just a Q, maybe a W scattered leap into an ult, and it's an easy time for her. On top of that, now up 75 CS compared to the Galio. And on top of that, too, the one place that Berjaya were at least going even, which was that bot lane, well, now, sure, you have a 10 CS advantage on Sivir, but Unified has 4 kills.
Yeah, that is definitely the problem. And at this point, for Berjaya Dragons, they have the potential of at least removing Unified, considering he is one of the most vulnerable targets off of the map, off of PSG. So if they manage to set up at least flanks, set up with Ozzy, pair that with Malwan too, have the all-in with the on the hunt, but not like this.
Ooh, that's a bit overkill. We've been coming out from Tank. It's going to be Unified picking up his 5th kill of the game. And PSG, you know what time it was? 15 minutes. And pretty much PSG just said, all right, time to play League of Legends. Trinity Force online for Hanabi. Black Cleaver there as well as Warrior. Enchant for your Lee Sin. 2 lethality items now too for the Varus. This is prime time for PSG.
And Kaiwing has his own version of On the Hunt, at least with the Shurelia's Ozzy.
Oh, here they come. Ozzy, unfortunately, gets himself taken back. Hook, though, does not land. Able to sidestep away. Gets himself back to safety. But again, that's an ultimate that he would love to have. And he's down 60 CS, so now he's down pretty much half an item. And now the push will come out from PSG as they look to take down their 4th tower of the game.
Look at the vision from PSG. Hook on the clone, though. Everything's going to be fine, but that tower's going down.
Ooh, Enzo. Got tagged there by Nice Barrel, and now in comes the Dragon Rage from the Lee Sin. River not able to finish off the kill, but Kaiwing picks it up with the Ignite as the Meteor, the Comet from Unified, does just enough damage to help finish off the kill.
My oh my, things are just falling like dominoes now. It all started from that river skirmish over the jungle of the dragons, and now PSG finding every single kill. Every single time they siege, Berjaya Dragons try to defend, see if they can do an outplay whatsoever, but PSG is far ahead to make these aggressive plays.
And it's just unfortunate now because I'm on the board now with Enzo. I prefer the Trundle to not be in this draft. I'll be frank, I felt Delulu actually had more presence during the lane phase as a jungler while being support.
Than the jungler.
Than the jungler, by the way. Because Delulu
Right.
roams so much, and it looked so good at the beginning for Berjaya. Got 2 good roams off, he got 2 kills into the mid lane. Unfortunately, he did funnel them onto the Karma. Maybe not the exact person you wanted to be on, but it looked good. The early game looked decent. But then lane phase kind of happened. There was massive CS differences, and unfortunately Berjaya, they just don't have another opportunity to recover without a massive misplay from Berjaya, who are now, not Berjaya, PSG, they're now up 9,000 gold.
Yeah, 9,000 gold, all objectives, except for that one Rift Herald that Berjaya Dragons managed to take in exchange of PSG focusing more on bottom. That's a spell shield gone, but looks like they're pretty safe for now as Everybody else is doing 1-3-1, at least coming from PSG. Berjaya Dragons having to run around the place as their only form of wave clear would be Delulu and K2. Mawan at least for the Q, so that's something.
Saw there a nice hook coming out. Over the wall they go.
Dear
Bring the
me.
squad, and there you are. River finds the kill. An instant burst coming out from Tank, taking down K2 on the Sivir. And there you go, PSG open up another tower in mid lane now, seeking a 10,000 gold lead at 22 minutes.
Oh my word, that, again, Kaiwing on this Thresh is just absolutely insane, and they managed to get a blind hook off of that, and with that said, because of the constant kills and constant pressure, Berjaya is unable to defend their towers.
Unable to defend the towers, they're pretty much relying on K2 to somehow stall out this game to 50 minutes. Looking for the Jin Air special dream with the Sivir. As unfortunately now it's looking a bit dire. And with that too, it's going to be Infernal Drake spawning now in 30 seconds. And if PSG really wanted to, could take the game to Seoul. The way they are playing, I feel like they might just end this game before that happens.
Yeah, they could get Baron once they get a pick once more. Definitely doable with River, Tank, and Kaiwing on the board. You add in Unify too with the Chain of Corruptions. Aw, River with the peace sign. See ya, I'm out with your blue buff. And yeah, at this point, it's definitely PSG's game. They're very confident now. They're riddling the jungle of the dragons with wards. You can see bounties building so much for PSG. Look at the 700 gold bounty. That's a 506 unified on this Varus, by the way. So insane.
Gets pretty much half health by one piercing arrow from Unify. Because he now has his third lethality item at night. Has him saved. Economy is just pushing in the lane. He's just doing gangplank things. Meanwhile, Dragon's being taken. A big chunk coming out from the Demolish. Tank. Also now looking to ascend once he gets 25 stacks in that Mage Eyes. Now for Berjaya, it's pretty much like, at what point are you going to falter here? At what point are you just going to kind of let this game go? Because it feels like it's come to this point where PSG at any time could decide, hey, we're going to pull the trigger, go for a dive in the game.
They have the potential to try and punish anyone being a little bit extended in the side lanes, but we're at that point where PSG will be together. Shirelius activated, hoping to get Mawan. But yeah, this is the time where they can actually get Baron. This could be, you know, setting up the waves first, and then it's go time for BR.
Yeah, for PSG here, I almost feel like you pretend that you're doing Baron, just set up a Death Brush. They have enough vision through the jungle that they could probably set it up here easily, so I'm interested. The one thing about PSG is sometimes the Baron calls have been a bit questionable. There's been, now I'm not saying them having a 10k gold lead is a questionable Baron call, but they have been caught out doing Baron and has costed them some decent gold. I think they're going to need to do that a couple times for that to happen, but so far, PSG looks very clean during week 3 overall.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, they did drop a game against HKA, but still managed to defeat a J team last night, who were on their way to, I believe, a 6-win streak, if ever they did win that one. PSG, in the meantime, though, again, incredibly comfortable in this game, still hoping to keep farming still. Just as you mentioned, they can possibly set up for a Death Brush if, you know, Berjaya will be pressured enough, as that's a very dark map. That's a very dark map for the Dragons.
It's a bit spooky if you're the Dragons. And there you go, PSG. Bring in the squad. Gonna go ahead, start up the Baron. Berjaya cannot even advance close to this. With PSG also setting up a Death Brush on the outside with a Unified. It's a very late response coming out from Berjaya. They know this is happening, but they understand there's not a whole lot they'll be able to do. PSG actually went off the Baron. It was at 4,000 health. They could have finished it.
It's a... Wow. Either very greedy for the play.
That's the play. They're just going to go ahead and engage. In comes Talon. Is going to be on this Galio from the teleport. A very aggressive call coming out from Kaiwing. Wanted to pop the Shirelias as well as using his flash to get within range, but back again they go. Looking up, saying, all right, deny the vision, and pretend that we're going to do Baron.
Yeah, they were hoping to start the fight. Unfortunately, despite the Baron being insanely low already for the taking, they still wanted to get into start a fight even more, as again, they're way ahead and they're very confident. Berjaya, though, unfortunately, they will be too late with this rotation.
Enzo gets hooked up into a chain of corruption and gonna get bursted down. In comes Tank's ultimate, almost one-shotting Delulu over toward the side. Ozzy gets himself back to safety with the scatter of the week. Unfortunately, will take him down. River, oh, he actually can't finish off the kill, but in the end, he will flash forward. He will take it down. It's a teleporting Sivir to get home to safety. It's a Baron buff for PSG.
And that's a lot of death timers. 30 seconds on the clock, more or less, and gotta wait for the wave as, you know, K2 hoping to at least sort of delay and salvage at least bot side of the map, but here comes a teleport coming from either Tank and as well as Hanabi.
That's a double teleport here. There you go. Tower's going to get taken down with Baron buffed minions. It's 15 seconds on the Galio, on the Wukong, as PSG want to press forward. Looking for K2 to somehow clear out these waves, but Cannon Barrage just comes through. River gets the kick onto Enzo. Might be looking for more kills themselves, and oh, even Flashy tried to safety, ends up going into the arrow, and Hanabi playing geometry when it comes to this gangplank. They get the shutdown, the base is trying to be held, but for Berjaya, it is going to be them getting wiped on their fountain, 21-4, and PSG able to go 2-0 on week 3.
What a win for PSG. Just another day at work, it seems, for PSG Talon. And with that, Berjaya Dragons, they looked really solid at the first, I guess, 4 minutes of the game, but it all just came crashing down with such immense leads for the solo laners.
Yeah, unfortunately, when Delulu gets your 2 kills, maybe not the exact person you want to get those 2 kills early on in the game. And yeah, unfortunately, Enzo, you might be a Trundle 1 trick, but I did not see a whole lot of pressure come out of this Trundle. Whereas, like, at least Delulu, I credit to Delulu. He had a really good early game on this Karma. I really loved what he was doing. But PSG, elsewhere on the map, the lanes were just outclassing Berjaya Dragons.
Yeah, and we were already sort of thinking that perhaps this Gangplank pick will be punished once more, as it has been the tail since spring. But it didn't happen because mid lane and bot lane were definitely the priority. It has also been the story of the Berjaya Dragons, where Ozzy will be left alone at the top lane. It's going to be just a pure 1v1. But you're up against Hanabi, so it's going to be a little bit difficult if you come the 5v5s and the skirmishes.
Yeah, unfortunately, like, that lane just wasn't a fun time. We're taking our look at this one before the first Rift Herald fight, where PSG really blew open the game.
Yeah, I mean, PSG, again, when it comes to the laning phase, they're pretty chill, focusing more on overwhelming their lane opponent, but 5v5s, they're really amazing, and Berjaya Dragons crumbled in front of them in the Rift Herald.
There you go, a sub 30-minute game, a decently fast one coming out of PSG. Is going to net them the victory over Berjaya Dragons. Berjaya Dragons, unfortunately, not going to be able to pick up another win and sit now, 2-6 when it comes to the record. PSG, though, top of the standings at the moment, and are alone, depending the outcome that's going to be taking place between HKA J-Team later today.
Yeah, I'm pretty excited about that one. Again, this is how it's supposed to go on paper for PSG being at the top of the charts, considering, again, MSS Spring Champions. But we're seeing a little bit of dents here and there in their armor, and it's still basically anyone's game when it comes to the standings, at least.
Yeah, exactly. I think this time around for Berjaya, I think this team is starting to get a little bit panicky when it comes to their summer split so far. This is, again, a team that was 4th overall in the double round robin, but then absolutely collapsed come the spring playoffs, and now here in summer, they still are facing a lot of issues that we saw back in the playoffs that ended up costing them their series against teams that they were actually favored to win. MVP, though, going to go on over to Kaiwing on the Thresh.
Yep, a well-deserved MVP. He has received a lot of MVP titles since spring on that Thresh. It's pretty iconic and pretty crazy. Some of the teams actually decide to just ban it against Kaiwing sometimes.
Yeah, I think that's a fair one to say. We do, though,
比赛获
luckily
得
have
胜利，那我
ourselves
们
an
也
interview
请
with
凯运
Kai
跟
Wing himself,
所有
so
观
we're
众
gonna
打
go ahead
声
and
招
throw
呼
it
吧
on。over to Patty.
大家好，我是 PSG 的凯运。
你好，那我们还是要先问一下几个问题。第一题的话是凯运在职业场上其实也打了非常久嘛，那在 PCS 开赛之后，你的进步幅度其实大家都是有目共睹的。你能不能分享一下你有做了哪些调整，或者是什么样不一样的练习吗？
So you've been in the pro scene for a very long time, and everyone can tell that you improved tremendously this year in PCS. So were there any changes in your mindset or your practices? Can you share it with us?
我自己觉得我现在的状况距离世界上顶尖的辅助的话，还有一个蛮大的进步空间。然后可能我在这一年吧，我就一直去学习一下比较强的辅助，去看一下他们打得好的地方，然后他们打得不好的地方，我也要去记得，然后避免在比赛里面发生。
So I think there's still like some improvements that I can make from me, preventing me from becoming the top world's top supports in the world. So if I would look at supports that are in the worlds, and then I will look at their skills and learn from their weaknesses and learn from their strengths.
那接下来第二个问题就是你们在昨天打败了战绩比你们更好的 JT， 所以目前算是并列第一的成绩。那你觉得除了 JT 之外，还有哪些队伍能够威胁你们在夏季赛夺冠？
So looking at the summer championship, who do you think is your biggest opponent in front of getting that championship?
我自己觉得除了 J Team 以外，就是马吉、AHQ 跟 HKA。我觉得就是他们现在看起来就是状况蛮好，只是这他们因为现在是例行赛嘛，例行赛就避免不了就是可能有一些失误在，但是我觉得他们在季后赛的表现会是很好的。我的预期类。
So besides J Team, I think Machi, AHQ, and HKA are our biggest opponents. So we're now in the regular season. There were some, they made some mistakes, but that's not a big issue. I think they're still pretty strong.
OK， 那最后一个问题还是想问一下，这下一场会是这一季近况非常好的 HKA 以及 J Team 要来做一个比较，那你能不能预测一下下一队谁会取胜呢？
So the next game we have HKA versus Taipei J Team. Who do you think is gonna win?
这个嘛，那 HKA 就前几天赢了我们嘛，然后 J Team 我自己觉得是现在最强的队伍嘛。但我们昨天就幸运的赢了 J Team。太难了这个，太难了，我觉得。HK 我支持 HK。
So because HK won us a few days earlier, and I personally think Taipei J Team is the strongest team currently. So it's a really hard question, but maybe HK.
OK， 那也是非常感谢凯瑞接受我们的采访，也恭喜你们在刚刚比赛获得胜利，也希望你们在后续的比赛可以再多加油。哇，那刚刚
Hey, you heard there. All right. A little bit of respect coming out from the rest of the table when it comes out of at least Kai Wing there. He's feeling, all right, you know what? I love how he just kind of went through what was at the top of the standings actually at the moment. He didn't even say like any of the other niche teams. Like, oh, maybe Nova can come out and beat us. No, he's just like, if they're right behind us in the standings, they're probably going to be contenders for the championship.
Yeah, I actually love how Kai Wing's on my side, at least in terms of predictions. I'm the only one in the broadcast team that says HKA might win against J Team in our third game tonight.
Well, we'll have to see. We are going to go ahead and take a short break. When we come back, it is exactly going to be that matchup. Of course, HKA taking on J Team. Stick around.
CTBC Bank is Taiwan's top financial institution, but we're not stopping there. We're crafting an international brand and already have over 260 outlets in 14 countries. We are by your side, ready to embrace the future.